Hello, welcome to our latest review for X-Men Month. Today we're reviewing Genext United, written by Chris Claremont with art by Jonboy Meyers. I don't know who did the cover for this, because as it's soon to be revealed, the person who did the cover obviously did not draw the interiors. There's the designs for the characters in the interior. So this trade collects issues 1 through 5 of Genext United, right? And this is not the first appearance of these characters. The first appearance was in this book, which I probably should have gone that book first, but you know, this, considering this came out in 2009, probably would have been hard to get. Oh, Alex Garner did the cover art. Okay, so the book is about this alternate history where the X-Men got old. They started up the school, the Xavier Institute for mutants, but now they don't train people to be superheroes. They just train them to train them how to use their powers. And the headmaster is Beast, and you have the future children of the X-Men, which is Oliver Raven, who is the son of Rogue and Gambit, Megan Frost Summers, who is the daughter of Cyclops and Emma Frost. You have Rico, who is the grandson of Reed Richards, and has the powers of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. You have Becca Monroe, who I'm not exactly sure what her powers are. She seems to have like Storm's powers. You have Pavel Rasputin, who's the son of Colossus, and you have No Name, who they don't say what her powers are. They don't say who her parents are. I probably should have looked it up on Wikipedia or something, but that's the book's job, right? So the book starts off with our characters looking for a member of their team who ran away. There's No Name. She was the one who ran away, and they're in Genosha. While they're in Genosha, they have this pep talk with Hank McCoy, who's giving them guff because they ran away. They were trying to be superheroes, and Scott Summers, who runs the Xavier Institute. Hank teaches the kids, but it's Scott Summers who runs the school. Doesn't want them to be superheroes, right? Because enough people have died, right? There's enough names on the memorial wall, right? While that's going on, there's an Indian superhero called Sati who is getting attacked by these demons, and the Genext, which is the name of the team, go and try to help her out, right? Also, I forgot to mention some of the people's powers, right? Like I said, Rico has the powers of Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. That includes force fields, invisibility. He can stretch his body. Oliver Raven has his mom's superpowers, right? He can absorb people's powers, and he seems to have basic flight and strength, right? And obviously, Colossus' son can, has the biometal armor. And this chick can fly. Yeah. So what ends up happening, they save this Indian superhero named Sati. Apparently, she's old friends with Beast, and they decide to go to India to help her against this superhero named Kalima, right? And this is pretty cool because it's nice to see our characters go to different countries to fight supervillains, right? And like this in India, right? the superheroes and supervillains name themselves after their mythological gods, right? Which is funny because that reminds me a lot of Wild Cards, the superhero novel series created by George R. R. Martin and Melinda Snodgrass. Because Chris Claremont worked on one of the books, one of the Wild Cards books, and in the Wild Card universe, Egypt had superheroes named after the Egyptian gods, right? So a lot of similarities between that. While they're there, they meet Sophie Von Doom, who's an ex-flame of Rico, right? Who they went to school together. She sends giant robots to attack the Genext and the Indian superheroes. This pisses off one of the one of the supervillains called Kalimba, who possesses Sophie Von Doom's body and defeats the Indian superheroes and defeats Genext, right? And Genext, here's one of the Indian superheroes, right? And Genext goes. Also, MODOK has a cameo, right? So what happens is Genext gets their butts kicked by the possessed Sophie Von Doom, and they end up getting turned into because Oliver Raven absorbed the powers of Sati. He turned everybody on his team Indian and gave them new memories, right? So Gambit and his daughter, I forget her name. I think it's Roxy. Here you see them in their Indian forms, and this reminds me of my prime minister, who got in trouble for dressing up as a India from Indian, wearing brown face paint at a Halloween party. So yeah, this kinda would not fly today, but it's 2009. This is before things get super. People got super woke, right? But it's funny because this offers known for being a progressive, right? Yeah, so they all have different jobs, right? Here's Rogue's daughter, which is Oliver Raven's sister. They go to find him and Gambit go to find Oliver Raven, which is their Gambit's son. That's her brother, right? And they bring back his memories, but it's not until the end of the book that they turn back, right? So they have to find the different members of the team one by one and regroup them and come up with a plan to save Beast and the Indian superheroes from Kalimba, right? At the end of the book, after Sati, they rescue Sati and the Indian superheroes. They summon the Indian gods, which are real, and that turns them back into themselves, except for No Name, who's still stuck in her Indian form, because she secretly wanted to stay as an Indian because she was part of Bollywood for a while. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Kind of weird. So let's get into the positives. One, I like the location. Two, the cover art's amazing. I love the character designs of the costumes, and I like the team. The team. What's the word? The team chemistry, right? You have like Pavel and No Name are a couple. These two are a couple. They have a thing for each other, but he falls for Saki, right? What are some of the problems I have with the book? One, this really made me disappointed right away when I started reading. Was the cover? You have a beautiful cover and a very realistic art style. Then you open up the book, you have this really cartoony art style, that's nowhere near as good as the cover art. And it's like, dude, that pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. Another major problem of the book is the action scenes aren't that great. Um, a lot of the word balloons that are supposed to be obviously one person's dialogue gets pointed at another character, so it's really confusing after you read it, and then you realize, oh, that word bubble was for that character that wasn't on the screen, but they made it sound like it was another character talking. That happened at least twice in the book that I noticed, maybe even 3 times, right? And then there's the racial swap, where all of our characters get turned Indian, and one of them stays that way at the end of the book, so that might offend some people. Another problem I had with the book is that, there's nowhere that says this is volume 2 of a series. So would have been nice if they, since it's a graphic novel, if they added character bios for these new characters and told you who they were, who their parents were, and what their fucking powers are. Because I have no idea what the fuck her powers are at the end of the book, right? You just see her punch people, right? I had no idea what No Name's powers are, right? Nor who her parents are at all, right? Yeah, and also I thought it was kind of lame that our characters just have the powers of their parents. They couldn't have unique powers of their own, which, like, I know, like, there's some, like, you had, like, in the past where, like, siblings of characters had similar powers, except for Cannonball and his sister Husk, who have completely different powers. But you had, like, Wolverine and Wolverine's son have similar powers. Cyclops and Havoc have similar powers, but they weren't exactly the same. Here, they're pretty much, our characters have pretty much the same powers of their parents, which is kind of lame, in my opinion. Would have been nice if you give more of a, original powers to these characters, right? But other than that, I did somewhat enjoy the book, but also there's the thing where the book has a very fast pace, and that people give Chris Claremont this criticism that he doesn't really write dialogue, he just writes exposition. And there was a lot of that here, where our characters didn't feel like, they were actually having conversations with each other. It was just exposition to the next scene. There's some of that here, right? I mean, it's like a mixed match. Which this book, I did not enjoy this book, if you couldn't tell by my reviews so far. It took me like 3 days to read it. Which I had a lot of I had a lot of reviews to, upload, right? So, I took my time with this, but it's like, if I had liked this book, I would have gone and done it in a single day. Since this was only 5 issues, this took me 3 fucking days to read. So that should tell you I was not a huge fan of this book, right? And I don't know. It's hard for me to give a rating, because a lot of the reason I don't like the book is because I hate the art. But it's only because it's the thing where I wouldn't have hated the art as much if you didn't have given me this awesome fucking cover. And then I open it up and it's like, oh, it's fucking bad art. Jeez, which is like 90% of modern comics today is. So if I were to give this rating, it's hard to say, because I'm between a 4 and a 5, right? But I don't think it's a 4, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. But yeah, I was not happy with this book. Maybe I'll check out the first volume if I ever see it, but not likely. This was the first Chris Claremont book I gave not a great review for. So a great rating, I meant. So the next X-Men month review is going to be X-Men with Great Power, which is the second volume of Victor Gischler's X-Men run, which we reviewed the first volume in the last year's Halloween month. So if you haven't seen my first volume review, make sure to check that out before we review this tomorrow, right? Which, because we're getting close to the end of X-Men month, and then we have like all the stuff that's going on in July, right? Where I have to review like comic reviews for Canada's Day and Independence Day. We're gonna do an X-Men month review, every day this week, okay, until we finish, until we finish all the X-Men books that I wanted to review for this month. So there's going to be days where I put up more than one video a day. So for the people who hate me, who hate when I do that, I'm sorry. But like I told some of you guys, you don't have to watch all my videos. Once in a while, if you can leave a comment, and like, I appreciate it, right?